Got the root right. Now let's get back to our cards here. Let's get back to the message. And I knew at that time that it was about letting go. And with the cards, and especially that Four of Pentacles, was about the tension between the material side and the energetic side, gripping too tightly and then allowing things to flow. Well, again, I didn't have my phone in airplane mode. So pretty soon the phone rings and I look down, it's like, it's my sister. I haven't talked with her in a while. I need to pick up the phone. So we started talking, and partway through talking with Pam, I get a text from another friend who is in Scotland right now. She just landed in Scotland. And so I got this WhatsApp message from her. So I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I did. And it was interesting because I could feel myself slightly spooling up. Now, nothing at all compared to how I used to. I would spin up like you wouldn't believe. But I was like, ooh, I'm feeling this tension, right? The outer pentacles, or the outer. In this case, I will say bolt, but the tension between those pentacles, I was feeling it. And I thought, stop, relax, go with that flow, that energetic flow, whether it's between the earth and the heavens, or whether it's between people or objects or whatever that is. So it was interesting watching myself respond to these interruptions, and they were welcomed interruptions, by the way. But what was so fun is my brother-in-law, he's just a wonderful man in general, but we are also excited for him that he has just signed up to do Ironman Wisconsin. And this past year he's done a couple of sprint triathlons, loved them. And it's so fun to see him blossoming in his abilities, and he's a very talented man, very talented businessman, but it's so cool that he has this thing that's his, and so much pulling for him, and it's going to be one heck of a journey, because it is a process of bringing towards you and then letting go. So what works, what doesn't work. And Corey, again, I'm just so proud of you, and you're just going to rock it. You are so going to rock this. And we're all there to support you on this journey. And what's so funny to me is about 10 years ago, so I would have been in my mid-40s, and I started doing triathlons. I'd always wanted to do triathlons, and I had one year that was just a perfect year. I think I did 3 sprints and 2 Olympic distance triathlons. The next year, actually what I ended up doing is after that, then I thought, I love it. A friend of mine and I decided we volunteer at Ironman Louisville because we're both being crazy enough to think, ooh, could we do a full Ironman? So we volunteered for some friends, and there were multiple volunteering opportunities that we took part in, but the most important one for us was at the very end of the day, being there at the finish line for the people who were coming across at just before midnight, right? And hearing the "You are an Ironman." And as I wheeled people, some people were fantastic. Other people could barely walk when they came across the finish line. Some I needed to convince to sit down in the wheelchair so I could get them to the medic area and get them IVs or whatever it was that they needed. But it became very obvious to me that I was not willing to do that to my body, that my body is not meant for that. I am not meant for that in this lifetime. So that was my first aha, but I still thought, I can do this, and so I had signed up for a half Ironman. And for me it was, I can do that. The swim was no problem, the bike was no problem, the half marathon was a problem. But you can walk that. And I ended up needing to completely let go of being an endurance athlete, because that fall ended up blowing out my shoulder, ended up wearing out my knees, the patellas of my knees. And it was so interesting because I needed to let go of my perception of I'm a very physical person. And I talked about this the other day just a little bit, is the letting go. And not being able to do physically what you used to be able to do. And so I'm so excited for Corey because he can do this, and he's smart enough. He has the support system. He's got his built-in trainer at home. And he's young enough and he's smart enough that he's not going to do stupid things. Hopefully, don't do stupid things, Corey. But for me, not being able to be the physical person felt I needed to be, that was my identity. And this put me into a spiral for a number of years of, now who am I? But it opened up within me that coming to terms with, I can no longer do that. It was the coming to terms with, and now it's time to get spiritual. You've had the really super physical side of things. You had a blast. You did things you wanted to do. You always wanted to do a triathlon. You've now done 5 or 6, whatever that was. And now it's time to turn inward and still embrace physical to be healthy and to keep the mind active, but turn inward. So when you look at the tension versus the relaxation in this Four of Pentacles, that's such a meaningful card, is know that there are times for being more physical, times for being more spiritual. And today I actually climbed up, I'm going to spin this around just a little bit here as I close this out, is I actually decided to incorporate my hike in today's message. Is I came to the top, and not super far, because again, I'm still getting my body back acclimated to climbing and building up muscles, but I thought I need to actually be physical to be spiritual today, because I needed to let go of any remaining tension that I had from feeling as if I was off kilter a little bit, and this helped me do that. So as you go about your day today, understand where you may have tension, where that tension does not serve you, because again, tension can serve you. And where is it appropriate to have relaxation? So that balance between the tension and the relaxation. The physical, perhaps, the spiritual. The material, the spiritual. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I send you blessings, love, and light as you go about your day today.